pretty wicked out there. There's no way.
There's lots of wires down near me.
Yeah. I think something must be down on 206 because I got a nixle about a detour.
Yeah.
Wires are down.
There's 1,000 homes without electricity.
It's north or south? Like,
It's between Orchard and 518 on 206.
Oh, okay.
okay, I didn't go to that part.
Yeah,
One of the poles came down. That's what we heard.
yeah, it's possible.
Oh, that's why ambulance come from south to north, very rush. So that,
My daughter last night texted me. She goes, "Mom, you better charge all of your devices. Look at the winds out there."
Yeah, Stewie.
Yeah,
yeah.
always a danger.
Yeah.
Good advice.
Hi, everybody.
Good morning.
Hello, Chris.
How's
Good
everyone
afternoon.
doing today? Jane, it looks like you got a haircut. I like it. Very
It's
nice.
perky.
It'll never be long again. That's all I have to say.
Listen, I had long hair for a little while, and I get it.
Oh. Nightmare.
I get it. We're gonna give it a hi, Ann. We're gonna hi. We're gonna give it a couple minutes. See, I think Vicky wanted to come. She emailed me some suggestions for today. But what we're doing today, I hope you all know, or whatever, is I want to get back to basics a little bit and get back to actually teaching, because
Excellent.
yeah, what ended up happening, initially this whole thing was a class. I was teaching everyone how to play the ukulele, right? And then once everyone sort of caught up, it was just like learning new songs every day. And then it eventually turned into like this sort of play along group, which is cool and it's good and everything. But I started to realize from some comments that people had made that people were kind of being left behind, right? Like that there wasn't, not everybody was as advanced enough to sort of keep up with what we were doing. And that's got to be a very frustrating thing. So what I decided to do is start doing like we'll do a real class where you guys can sort of let me know what are things you're struggling with and we could work on making that better, so whatever, be it like new picking patterns, or maybe you're just not great at strumming and don't quite get how do I figure out what a strum is and what to do and, all that kind of stuff. But it's going to be based on you. So I need you guys to be vocal. All right. Like in other classes, I've asked in the past, like, does anyone want to go over anything? Does anyone? And like, nobody ever really says anything. So I really need you guys to sort of be vocal about what you need. No one's ever going to be like knocked down because they ask. There's no stupid questions. I honestly mean that, like there's nothing you could ask me to do that I'll ever, shame you for in any way. You don't have to worry about anything at all. And guaranteed, if you're asking me a question, there's at least 2 or 3 people in the room right now that also have the same question. Guaranteed, So it's just ask me anything. And that's how I really like this to go. All right. And we could do it every Monday. It's fine. I'm cool with that. And then, and if you want to go over, just to say, like, if you want to go over a song that you have trouble with, that's good too, fine with me. As long as it's benefiting the group and it's something that we're actually learning and advancing our skills, I'll be totally cool with it. So that's my speech.
Great speech.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I've been practicing it for a couple of days now. Thank you. You guys know I love to talk, so I appreciate it. So first thing, let me see something here. I didn't read the whole thing, so okay. I just want to address Marcia. You sent me an email that you were having trouble seeing the videos in full screen?
Yeah, I can see it in full screen right now, but when I get sent the video, if I miss a class,
Right.
then my full screen is tiny. I mean, I don't get the full screen anymore.
When you get the video, it'll play usually by default in like a little frame like this.
Yeah,
There's an icon in the lower. It's
it
not
doesn't,
there.
on my thing, it won't work.
Are you watching it on an iPad?
Yeah.
It may be different on an iPad. You might want to watch those videos on like a laptop or a home computer. If you do you have any other device that you could possibly? I mean, I
use
can't.
my iPad.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not very good with Mac stuff.
Okay,
so-
well, I didn't know. I swear that it used to work, and now
it
it
does.
doesn't.
It does work. I mean, it works for me. It works for I think.
On an
you know,
iPad?
I've
No,
never.
Marcia,
I've never.
I have an iPad. I'll fiddle around with it today or tomorrow. The last one I couldn't even open up at all. And I've only opened up a few of them and they
Okay.
used to work, but the last one I couldn't even get it to work at all.
You know what?
I
I'm,
used to be able to work it,
what
and
I'm.
I thought,
What
well,
I'm
maybe
thinking.
something happened on the other end. Maybe you downloaded it differently or something. I don't know.
You know,
format.
it's the same process every time. What I will say is because it's on my Google Drive and it's not, my sister actually pointed this out to me and I have literally no idea why I didn't do this in the first place. She said, why didn't you just put everything on YouTube? And I'm gonna do that. I mean,
Oh, good.
there's like 60 classes, so it's gonna take me a day to do it, but I'm going to put everything up on YouTube. That way, if you can maximize YouTube videos, you'll be able to maximize that. It's
Okay.
gonna take some time because they're all a little over an hour, you know. And I don't think YouTube has any limits for the amount of stuff you could put up because I'm gonna put up like 60 hours and overnight.
You
Oh, you know
don't
what it
have to
is?
backtrack. You can just go from this point on if that's.
Yeah, I guess
Easier.
I guess we could do that, but
Yeah.
I'd like to have everything available. And again, my sister also made the point that there might be other people out there in the world that might enjoy the classes, you know, and why
You know
not
what,
have them
Chris?
publicly
It's
available?
possible.
Yeah,
Chris, the easiest way to do it is you make a Google Drive file and you just share the file once. That way, every
Well-
time you add a video, you don't have to keep emailing us. You just put it there and then we access the file.
that's a good idea too.
One shared file, and then it's less work for you. I'm all about less work.
That's a good idea. I think it all just started because Vicky was sort of,
Yeah,
I don't know,
sending
she was
them out.
handling everything, and I was like, yeah, I'll just send her the link, you know, like. But yeah, that's a good idea too. I can very easily share the file and just send that one link out to everybody. But I think also putting it on YouTube will sort of normalize it for every platform. So if you have a Mac, it'll work. If you have a PC, it'll work. If you're on an iPad, it'll work. You know what I mean? Like maybe on Google Drive, there's some weirdness. I don't know. Like I've honestly never really used it before, except for this. So I don't have any experience for if the video is like, maybe it's a weird thing on an iPad. I don't know.
No, Apple doesn't play nice with Google. They
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, exactly right. Because, you know, Apple and Google are diametrically opposed. So,
Mortal enemies.
yes, mortal enemies. So, but YouTube works for everybody. Everybody loves YouTube. So that's probably going to be my next step. And at the very least, I'm going to start uploading everything from now on to YouTube, and I'm going to make it like a full Monty Montgomery YouTube channel. So that way everyone could just go to that channel and there's all the videos and that'll be it. You know? Nice and easy. So I am surprised that Vicky's not here, but if someone gets a chance, maybe text her, let her know we're all online.
Yeah.
I would, but I can't. My phone is my camera.
Yeah.
So I can't use my phone at the moment. All right. So I want to open it up to everybody. What do you want to learn? What do you want to learn? What are we struggling with? What are we? Marcia's hand shot straight up immediately. What do we got, Marcia?
Well, you know, strumming is basically for me. I know the island strum. I know just down, up stroke. But I think other strokes. I just happened to have this Spanish Harlem where you
with the fan, right? Yeah, that's with a fan. It's called a fan, or you know, if you could just do it with one finger. I do it with three. That's an interesting point, and we can look at that strum, right? And so let me start by saying the first thing, and I've said this before, talking about, does everyone sort of want to talk about strumming briefly? Is that okay with everybody's nodding?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so the thing about strumming is, and this might be a little confusing, there's no real wrong way to strum, right? Like when you're playing a song, as long as you're rhythmically syncing up with the song, right? It's gonna sound okay. The strum that Herb comes up with and that I ultimately say this is the strum for the song is one that works really well, that everybody already kind of knows, so it's not too kind of complicated or whatever. Or if it's a new strum, it's not too hard, you know, whatever. It's sort of an intermediate thing. You can make a strum as complicated or as easy as you want. And to make the point here, I'm going to open up Spanish Harlem, actually. We'll start with that one. Let me share my screen with you guys. And I'm going to try to unshare more often. Can you see that? Can you see my Google thing now?
Yep.
Okay.
Go vote.
Go vote. Definitely. Everybody do that, please. All right. So we're
Done and done.
done and good. Me too.
It's done 2 weeks ago.
Excellent.
Yes.
I'm very glad to hear that. Get it done, man. You know, we all gotta say our piece. Spanish Harlem, that's in the songbook, right, Herb?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see if this search works. Oh, no, that's doing something weird. Search and drive. Boom. There we go. All right. So down, down, up, down, up. You see at the very top of the screen, that's the strum, right? And that's again called the island strum. And everyone must be a little confused that we use that almost for everything, right? But the thing is, that strum is a very good, solid pop music strum, right? Like it's good for 50s music. It's good for even this, which is sort of like, it's sort of a cross between like a 50s and a like a rumba type beat, like a bossa nova almost. And it works for that too. But in this one, there's something that says fan down, right? So, oh, and I see a tab here, and we're going to definitely do a class on reading tablature at some point as well, because I know that people struggle with that too. So let's take a look at this. Really easy. The first, I mean, there's really only six chords, but most of it is C and F, right? So you've got, there is a rose in Spanish Harlem, and you stay on that C, right? And I'm going down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, like that, right? Now, a fan, I'm going to stop sharing so you can see my window fully here. So if you're on the C, on the down after the first down, so the second down, 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 up, you've got that pause between down, up, right? And in there, what a fan means is that you sort of play the third, second, and first string in a row, right? So it's like, so if I do it really slow, you hit that lower string and then, right? Like that. Now what a fan is you can take your first, second, and third finger and go like that. 1, 2, 3. And I'm striking, in that case, all the strings every time one of my fingers goes down, right? So I'm holding a C with this hand. And then with this hand, my first finger comes down, my second finger comes down, and then my third finger comes down. And it's all in a row, so it's like this. But now don't expect to do this right away. I hear people trying it already, but it's not, this is something that you'll need to practice, right? This isn't something that's going to happen overnight, because that's a coordination thing that your hand isn't normally used to doing, right? You're not used to going, but like, when do you open up 3 fingers in a row like that? Never, right? So it's something you're going to need to practice. Yes, Marcia, you're muted, so unmute yourself.
I'm okay with the fan thing. It's like, when do I fan? Is it down, down? I was doing it on the first beat, and then
No.
and then
It's on. So if you're counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, right? It's 1 down on the and after the 1, right? So it's 1 fan down, up, up, down, up. So 1 fan, 1 fan, right? So you do a down strum, your first down, and then what would be the second down is where
Okay.
the fan happens, right? So it's, and then an up for the up, down, up, right? So, sorry, up and then up, down, up. So
okay.
it's down, fan, up, down, fan, up, down, up. So that fan takes place in one beat, right? So it is pretty quick. That's the thing about it. So it might be a little, that's why it's a little bit confusing. But yes. No, it's fine. That's
Okay.
why we're here.
Now I'm glad I know that. But it gets very confusing for me when I play where the F is. See where there's all these words and it doesn't give you how many, like, see where the F is?
Let me share it again.
It says 24 counts.
Right.
But when, when is the down, when does the one count, when does the up, down, up end for each of those phrases?
Okay. So in this case, and I have a feeling that a lot of people are doing this, we're looking at it wrong. Okay. You got to think about this in a different way. The down, up thing happens throughout the song, right?
Yeah.
And it never stops.
Yeah.
It repeats.
Yeah.
So the words just happen over top of that, right?
Yeah.
So instead of thinking like, do I fan on the special, or do I fan on 1, or do I fan on Rose, or do I fan on Harlem? You can't think that way. You have to think like I'm going down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up through the whole song. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the words happen and they start on 1. Well, they actually start on the and, because it's there is a rose in Spanish Harlem. 1, a red rose up in Spanish Harlem. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. It is a special one. Na, 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 na. It only comes out when the moon is on the run and all the stars are 1. You see what I mean? So it's after, in this case, it's right after the 1. It's 1, then you start, then it's the fan, right? So it's 1 there is a rose in Spanish. So you have to sort of break away from this thinking of it in small pieces, right? Instead of thinking it in pieces, and what do I do in this section and what do I do in this section, you have to make your arm like a machine, right? Like your arm is just going, like you wind it up and bam, there it goes. It's just going, and it just doesn't stop. Down, down, up, down, up. It's doing that for the duration of the song. Now, it's a little bit of a different story, like figuring out where to start singing in that pattern, and I understand that, right? But that's what the examples of us playing it, or me playing it, is for, to sort of see. It might help if I maybe start counting a little bit during it, So like, if we do it like this, I'll do a 4 count and then start singing with the C, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. There is a rose in Spanish. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. A red rose up in Spanish. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. It is a special. You see what I mean? So I'm not thinking about the strum anymore. Like the strum is just going, right? And that's sort of what you have to work on. Is just, you get that strum going, and it you don't stop. And that might be hard to do. in the beginning, you know, because you want to know more specifically, like, where am I supposed to fan? What am I supposed to do? But if you know that you're fanning on the and of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, the song, like the beats never stop. They're going through the whole song. You know, that's what rhythm is. It's that pulse that goes through the whole song. And you're strumming along to that sort of imaginary pulse, right? That's what it is. And maybe it would help to have like a beat behind me or something like that, or even like a click, so you could hear what the rhythm is. And I'll look into doing something like that, even for this class, you know. I'm sure I could bring up a metronome or something, but yeah. Does that help at all, or is it still sort of confusing? Because you got to look on your face like I'm not helping.
Well, I can play that whole song with the island beat, and now I know where the strum is, but I don't want to spend any more time on it because this is a long time. I just lose it when I get to that F because I don't know where, you know, it goes like, it only comes out when the moon is on the run and all the stars are, you know, I don't know.
Let me tell you that is a difficult thing to do, even by my standards, right? Even knowing what I'm doing, I sometimes screw up that part because in this song in particular, he slams 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 25 words into 12 beats, right? Or 16 beats. It's a lot, and it's confusing to even sing that. You know, when you have two beats that go against each other, right? Like if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and ba 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 ba. That's called syncopation. When you have one beat going and there's another beat on top of it doing something different than the beat underneath.
That's what's happening.
And that's a complicated concept for anybody, let alone someone who's starting out with a song, right? Or starting out with an instrument rather. So this song in particular, it doesn't surprise me that it's difficult for some people because it's got some very advanced concepts in it. The fan is an advanced concept, and rhythmically, as soon as you get to that F, it gets hard to deal with, right? So again, the best way to do this and to think about it is to try to listen to the song as much as possible, right? And when you're listening to the original song, the Benny King version is what we try to do, then try to count along with it, right? See if, and every song you listen to, see if you could find the 4, right? The beat in it. The 1, 2, 3, 4. Where is that happening in a song? Where's the 1? Where do they start their phrases in a song? Every song has a pulse in it. You know, every song in pop music has either a 4 or a 3, right? A 3 is like a waltz kind of rhythm, so it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Or it's going to have a regular, straightforward, what's called a 4/4 rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are other rhythms that I won't talk about because they almost never happen in popular music. And when they do, they're sort of an outlier and, you know, whatever. But, you know, but those are the two main rhythms that you're going to see all the time. And listen to tons of music. I mean, I can't stress enough how if you're learning an instrument, it always blows my mind that some of my students, I'll ask them, like, what's your favorite band? What do you listen to? And these kids, they'll be like, I don't really listen to music. Why are you playing guitar? What are you doing? Like, you have to go out and listen to music. If you want to be a musician, you have to see how other people do it, right? And what it sounds like and what it feels like and what rules were they following, right? And how did they squeeze all these words into it? And it'll make a lot more sense. You'll hear the drums, you'll hear the bass, you'll hear all the other stuff that helps inform the rhythm that just the ukulele by itself doesn't have. So if I can give you, you know, for any of these complicated songs, my best advice is listen to the song. Go listen to it. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't do when they're trying to learn a song. And it seems so obvious, but it may not be. And it's super important, super important. I listen to all these songs at least once before I play them. And you know, I'm lucky because I've been playing music long enough that once I sort of get it into my head, I know how the rhythm goes, right? But you guys are all starting out. You have to really, you got to pound that into your head. And once you listen to enough music, you'll start to get like I am and start to almost immediately and instinctually understand what the beat is and what the artist is trying to do with their rhythm, right? So there you go. Go do that. Listen to music. I hope that helped a little bit. And I have a tendency to repeat myself, so I'm going to stop now. And yeah, that's it. Welcome, Vicky. I was worried you weren't coming.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
I think it's a big help to have headphones.
Headphones?
Yes, because then I could hear you much clearer. Because I don't hear my own playing on top of your playing. I could hear your beat, the beat of or your strum.
Right.
Much clearer.
Oh, much clearer. That might be a good piece of advice. You know, you guys might wanna think about that. And Yaya and David, they make an adapter so you can put 2 headphones into 1 plug. You know, you could probably get it on Amazon. If you guys want to try to use headphones, that might be a really good idea because it sort of mutes your own playing a little bit, and you'll hear me more distinctly. That's a great idea, Herb. I like that. You know, maybe I'll start using headphones. Yes, Dee.
I walk almost every day, and I walk to the beat of my music.
Excellent.
If I want to go fast, I put on top pops.
Yep.
If I'm going up a hill and I need to go slower, I'll slow it down a little bit.
And that's exactly it. And that's also another reason why music connects to us so much, why it's able to change our emotion. You know, this may sound like sort of like new agey hippie crap, but we all have a rhythm within us, you know, our heartbeat, right? Everyone has a rhythm that's always going. And when you connect to this music, that rhythm can change your whole day. I mean, weightlifters will listen to really intense music so they can get the power to sort of, you know, push up more weight than they normally do. You know, when you're depressed, I mean, some people lean into it and listen to really sad songs like me. Some people will listen to happy songs to try to make themselves happier, you know? Music can affect you in that way, and the rhythm has a lot to do with it. The beat, right, has a lot to do with it.
Definitely.
Yeah, and you know, listen to songs, and it doesn't have to be like every style of music and everything, because this beat is in all music. So just listen to music that you love. You know, I mean, I do recommend you listen to music outside of your normal perspective and your normal genre a little bit, because it's good to get other perspectives, and you might find something you really like. But even if you're listening to just your own kind of bubble, you'll get that rhythm. You've been feeling it for years. You just haven't put a name to it. You haven't put a number to it. You know, you've all been feeling it, and you've all felt it before. It's just that now you can quantify it and say, oh, wow, that's the one. That's what the most important thing is. That's where that is, you know? So, yeah, that's great. That's great to talk about that. Thanks, Dee. Anybody else want to chime in or want to learn something else? Oh, Jane, yes. You got to unmute yourself. You're muted.
It's Jen or me? Jen.
Speaking of muting, I still have trouble muting when we're playing. I just don't know what I'm doing.
Okay, that's a great question, and we can go over that too. All that muting means is making the string stop vibrating, right? And you can do that in a bunch of different ways. The way that I kind of notoriously do it is I use my pinky, right? So let's say I'm playing an F, and on every, say, 4th beat, I want to mute it. And let's just, no offense, everybody, but I'm going to start muting the class while I'm doing the examples. No, it's fine. Don't get that look on your face. It's perfectly okay. I just don't want to confuse anybody because we're talking about rhythm. All right. So, oh, wait, I had it and then it went away. I have my camera leaning up against the screen. Here we go. Okay. So, so let's say you want to mute every 4th beat, right? I'm going to start with an F chord. And I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to do just downstrokes. Okay? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we want to mute every fourth beat. Now, notice when playing an F chord, and usually when playing almost any chord, you'll have at least one finger free, right? In this case, you have two that are just sort of floating there doing nothing, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what I did there was I laid my fingers across the strings very, very lightly. So not enough so that they make a note, just enough so that the strings stop vibrating. And you don't need a lot of force there at all, right? You just barely touch them with your fingers. So we'll do it like this. 1, 2, 3, mute. 1, 2, 3, mute. Okay, so by laying these two fingers across the strings, it gives it a percussive sound, right? Now let's talk about, let's say you actually have a chord where you're using, say, 3 fingers and you're weird about using your pinky. Let's say we're playing like a B chord, right? And a B chord is where you bar the 1st and 2nd string on the 2nd fret. Your 2nd finger goes on the 3rd fret, 3rd string, and your 3rd finger goes on the 4th fret, 4th string. And remember, when we're counting strings, because I say this a lot, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string, we're counting from the ground, right? From this string, the bottom string, the one closest to the floor, is number 1. And then we go up, 2, 3, 4, right? So when, let's say we're playing with three fingers, and, you know, we're not quite so strong with our pinky, because a lot of people are not, you know. Your pinky is very unruly and just wants to go off and do its own thing and tends to not want to listen to you. It wants to party by itself, you know. I have that same problem sometimes. So in order to mute in this case, all you need to do is lift the pressure off of those strings with your 3 fingers. So you're pressing down to make the notes, right? Now, if you release that pressure even just a little bit, you'll notice now you're getting that percussive sound, right? Because you're doing essentially the same thing as you did when you laid a finger across the strings. It doesn't really matter where you mute the strings. I mean, I could mute it here, down here, whatever, right? So even though it's staggered and you've got one finger here, and one, it's still muting all the strings, right? Just by releasing that pressure a little bit. There's no magic to it. You just want to stop the strings from vibrating using whatever finger, appendage, whatever you have available to stop those strings from vibrating, right? A mute is a percussive sound that's meant to sort of either emphasize a part or like even start a song like that. You know, that sort of muted thing before you start. And all I'm doing there is I have all 4 fingers across the 4 strings and I'm barely touching it, very lightly, you know? So no matter what chord you play, even if it's 2 fingers, you know you can mute these 2 strings at least with these 2 fingers and then just lay an extra finger across there. And that might take some practice too. A thing I want to really emphasize in these classes is that I don't expect any of you to do any of these things immediately. It'd be weird if you could, you know. That would, like, okay, maybe you're a ukulele prodigy, I don't know, but it's stuff that you may have to practice. That fan, you're going to have to practice. Muting the strings, you know, even getting your 3rd finger to kind of lay lightly across those strings is going to take practice. Letting the tension, letting the pressure up off of a chord so you're muting all 4 strings is going to take practice. So you don't lift up too far and then you get this sound, which is not a mute at all. It's just you strumming all 4 strings, right? Or you push down too hard and then you get like a, you know, some random strings ringing or something like that. You want just the right amount of, you know, light pressure to mute those strings. And take time, take practice. What I just did with the muting, you know, picking a chord let's say, you know, again, an F chord or even like a C7 or whatever, 1, 2, 3, mute, right? And then try other things. Try muting on the 2, right? 1, mute, 2, 4, 1, mute, 3, 4. Come up with little exercises for yourself to sort of to practice that muting thing, and then try different chords, right? Try it with a C. Now, if you're playing a C like I normally tell you with your third finger, believe it or not, we even have another way that we can mute it here. You could lay your first finger across on the first fret, and that will mute the first 3 strings, or the second 3 strings, the second, third, and fourth string, right? And then just pick up the pressure with your third finger that's on that note to play the C, and now all 4 strings are muted. See that?
Are you always playing are you always strumming when you mute, or is it, do you know what I mean? Like, are you?
Yeah. Otherwise, there really wouldn't be a reason to mute, right? Like that, the mute is that sound that,
Okay.
right? So if it's not being strummed, there's really no reason to even make the mute happen unless you're stopping a chord from ringing for some reason, right? So then you don't have to strum after that. Let's say you just want the F to go for 1 beat, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you want to stop it, then you would mute the strings without strumming. Does that make sense? That's the only time really that would happen. And that's more advanced stuff. Like you generally won't need to stop a chord from ringing very often. If I find a song that we play where you do, you know, like maybe Eye of the Tiger, right? Where you've got that, I don't remember the first chord. That's in A minor. Bum, 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 right? It's A minor, G, A minor, right? So what I'm doing in between each one of those chords is I'm playing the A minor and then stopping the strings from ringing by putting my other fingers down on the strings in front of where I'm holding the chord, right? That's important too. So that stops it. Bum, 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 right? So I'm stopping it from ringing in between. Now with the G, in this case, there's another way to mute it. I mean, you asked, so here we go. There's another way to mute the strings. If you hold the ukulele in this sort of position, right? And I've got the way I usually hold it is with my hand resting here, but sometimes I'll have it so that my whole arm is sort of, can go over the strings like this. And in that case, you're strumming a little bit higher up the neck, but then you can mute the strings with your arm, right? Watch this. So I play a G. I'm not even touching the fretboard at all. And you can still strum that clicky strum while you have your arm touching the strings, because it's stopping the strings from vibrating. And again, that's all that muting is. Making sure the strings don't vibrate so they don't make a note and you get that sort of drummy percussive sound, right? That's what you're going for. So like I said, stop it with your arms, stop it with your fingers. You know, if you're flexible, use your feet, whatever, man, you know, you make it happen. I'm sure you could do it. So that's a little lesson on muting. Did that help a little bit?
Very much so.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. All right. Who's next? I think, you said you had a question? Yes.
So the mute and the chop, sometimes the chop.
Oh, the chuck, yeah.
The same. Sometimes I say the chord X there. X there means chop.
Yeah, okay. So there's a little bit of a difference between a mute and a chuck, right? A chuck is you still kind of want the notes to ring a little bit. So when you mute, there's no musical information coming from the ukulele at all. It's like a drum, right? There's no notes happening. When you chuck, which I hate that term because it's called palm muting, but my mom calls it chucking because she saw some YouTube video somewhere where they called it chucking, and it drives me crazy. But whatever. Yes, it's called chucking now. That's fine. I accept it. The chucking, you still want some notes to be happening. So say we have a G chord that we're playing, right? What I'm doing is I'm taking sort of the blade of my palm right here, and you want to lay that down. Right, this thing right here where the string's attached, that's called the bridge, right? So you want to put your hand, the blade of your hand, right in front of the bridge, right around in this area on the strings, like that, right? So you got this sort of thing happening. Now, when you strum that and you do it right, you hear that? You're still sort of hearing the notes. You still can make out that that's a G, but it's muted, right? It's sort of halfway between a chord and a mute. You could still sort of make out that there's notes there. Now, if you're getting this sound, like barely any notes at all, sort of really close to regular muting, your hand is too far forward, okay? If you're getting this sound and the strings are just ringing like normal, your hand is too far backwards, right? Back in this direction. There's a sweet spot right in front of the bridge. There's a spot right in front of the bridge that if you do it just right, you still get the sound of the chord, but it's very muted, right? And why would you do that? Well, in certain portions of a song, when you're singing, you might want to move the chords, so to speak, out of the way a little bit, right? So instead of doing like, you could do like a, so you still hear the chords, but they're subdued, right? And one of the things, I said that music is made up of rhythm, right? But another one of the things that makes music is something called dynamics. And what dynamics is how loud and soft, essentially, a song gets, how intense and how subdued it gets, right? And if you're playing, say, the same chords for a whole song, which happens sometimes, and you want the dynamics to change, you don't want like the verse might be a little bit more subdued, and when the chorus comes on, you want a little bit of a lift, right? You want a little bit of an intensity change. So for that to happen, you might want to mute in the verse, right? And then when the chorus comes on, you bring it out like that. And then, you know, when here comes the verse again, you see what I mean? So it's not muting for like percussive value. It's muting to just lower the volume of the chord a little bit. So you still hear the chord, but it's subdued, right? And that's what chucking is. Yeah. At least that's how I've been led to understand it is. Because I know some people also call just regular old muting this thing chucking as well. So it's a little bit confusing. But for our purposes, muting is when the strings don't ring at all. Chucking is when you still can hear the chord, but it's subdued. And again, I'm going to say this a lot to the point where it's annoying, and I don't care. It takes practice to get this right, right? So don't expect to be able to chuck, or I call it palm muting because you're using your palm to mute, right away, right? In the beginning, it's going to sound funky. It's not going to be right. It takes some time to find that spot, to find the right spot where your hand is hitting the strings just right to do this, right? To make it sound like you still hear the chord, but it's just down a little bit, right? The volume's been turned down on the chord. Also, it doesn't ring as long, right? Like if I hit a chord just open, it rings for a long time, right? When I do this, it dies really quickly. You can still hear the chord. You can still sort of make out it's a G, but it dies quickly and the volume is down on it. So, and a lot of different artists will use that for different purposes, but usually to sort of differentiate a verse and a chorus kind of thing, you know, or a quiet part from a loud part, whatever that happens to be, you know. That help a little bit?
Yep.
All right. Excellent. All right, I'm watching all of you, so hands go up. You let me know whatever you want to do next. I know you got questions. I got answers. And if you don't have questions, I have some. Oh, Jane. All right. What do you got?
Another one. This is really, how are you holding, again, how are you holding? Because like, I feel like my arm is rubbing and it always, I don't know, it's always rubbing against it or something.
Yeah, this is an issue that actually a lot of people have, and sadly, I haven't found a perfect approach to fixing that. Actually, some guitar and ukulele manufacturers have taken to bending this part and making it round, because people have so many issues with like their arm sort of digging into this edge here, right? And unfortunately, it sort of depends on your body, your side, like where your arms sit, you know, like there's all these sort of physical factors about sort of how you're shaped, right? Like to whether or not it's going to be comfortable to you. You know, I've got sort of a big enough arm that I could reach over, you know, I mean, and it is sort of digging into my arm, like right here, you know, it just doesn't bother me all that much, I guess, because the way I hold it, if I'm holding it naturally, is I'm pinning it against my body, and right about here on my arm is touching right about here on the ukulele, right? Like that. And then my hand is supporting it over here, and that's why it doesn't slide down. It doesn't, you know, move all over the place. And, you know, if you were the kind of person who ended up needing a strap because your ukulele kept sliding, you were you were holding it differently, right? And it's just the physics of your body. Unfortunately, so you got two options. One, try to find a way that you can hold it without it being uncomfortable, and you have the, you know, you might get a little better results if you sort of tilt the neck up a little bit. Like instead of holding it down this way, maybe it would be more comfortable if you, yeah, like move the neck up a little. You see like classic guitar players play like this, you know, where the neck shoots straight up in the air. You know, even like changing your leg position, like putting one of your legs up might help. Like even like they make, I don't think I have one here, but they make these little baby stools for guitar players, and you could put your foot up on it and sort of lean your guitar against it, and that might help. My dog is bothering. I gotta let her out. Excuse me. She's very demanding. I'll be 2 seconds. I'll be right back. I'm coming.
So Vicky, where were you?
Yeah. Unmute.
Yeah, okay, I got it now. I was trying. I was with Justin, and they have my grandson who's 5,
Right.
and I'm doing the kindergarten experience with him because we're all virtual this week because of NJEA convention, and so that's where I was.
So kindergarten after hours? So it ends at what time? 4:30?
It was
doesn't matter.
about 3:45, I think.
Yeah.
So it just took, I mean, it's not that far away, but you know, as soon as I could get myself together. What did you cover? I mean, I don't want to repeat, and I don't want to take class time. I see Chris is back.
I guess, what did we start with? It was mainly strumming in the beginning. We talked
It was
about
that
strumming.
Spanish Harlem thing that I asked about.
Right. She asked specifically about the fan. So we talked a little bit about how to do that fan.
Okay.
And also, and you know, the more I thought about the song, the more I realized how advanced it sort of is. We talked about how when you're strumming, you shouldn't be thinking about, because some people think about songs in pieces, right? Like just this little part here, what am I supposed to be doing for this line? And I don't want you to think about it like that anymore. I want you to think the down, down, up should be happening through the whole song. Like your arm should be going like a machine. And then you figure out how to sort of sing the words on top of that. Like the words dance on top of that, right? Because there's a part in this, just the second verse of Spanish Harlem where he goes, "It is a special one. It's never seen the sun. It only comes out when the moon is on the run," and all this stuff. That's hard. That's hard to do. That's hard to keep that strum going and sing that. That's hard to, oh, look at Jane's dogs. Aw. That's a hard thing to do. And I define that when you have one beat going, like, so for Spanish Harlem, the main pulse of the song is 1, 2, 3, 4. But in that part, you've got the dun 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 da 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 da. That's called syncopation. That's when two beats are going against each other. And that's an advanced musical concept. That's a thing that's not easy to pull off. That's something that drummers need to struggle with. That's something that every musician that is confronted with a syncopated rhythm the first few times is like, whoa, what's happening here, you know? And Spanish Harlem is actually, to sing it and play it at the same time is far more difficult than I initially thought. And sometimes stuff like that will escape me because I've been playing for so long, you know? So the song just feels easy to me. It's got to be easy to everybody else, but I have to sort of start thinking a little bit, and that's my fault. I have to start thinking a little bit deeper about these things because that's a lot more difficult of a song than I initially thought. It really is. You know, forget the fan. Just playing it straight forward is difficult with all that syncopation happening.
Well, that's why we let you sing and we play.
Well, that's a good, and that's the other thing. That's a good way to do it, absolutely, when you're first doing it, but also listening to the music. And in some cases, you won't be able to play along with the songs because they're not in the same key. So what I'm going to start doing is letting you know if there's a version that exists in the key of the song that we're doing, right? And giving a link for that. For any song that you guys request or that is difficult. I'm not going to do it for every single song. I'm sorry. There's 270. There's almost 300 songs now. So, but if you have an issue with a song and if it's a song that you want to practice, ask me and I'll find a version that's either in the same key or you can change the key of the song. There's actually websites that'll do it for you, but I could also change the key of a song and send it to you in the quote unquote right key that you can practice in, or we can look for a version of the tab or the chords that match the recording. And Herb also recently, I don't know, more than recently, has been putting up this thing that says capo, you know, the 3rd fret to get the right key for the video. So if you want to play along to that song that says to capo, let's talk about what a capo is and how it works really quickly. So this is a capo. This happens to be called a bird of paradise capo because it looks like a bird. All it is a clamp, right? That's all it is. It's just two pieces that come together like this. And the clamp goes on a fret. So when it says put the capo on the 3rd fret, you put the capo on the 3rd fret, and this one has a little thing that you push down. So it puts pressure on that 3rd fret. And now the key has been changed. The key is now 2 frets higher. And what you do is you play the chords as if this were the top of the ukulele, right? So an F chord now, like this becomes the new 1st fret, right? It's a little out of tune because I capoed too hard. Hold on. There we go. Ooh, way out of tune. This unfortunately will happen sometimes with certain capos. When you capo it, it goes a little bit out of tune. That's okay. So now this becomes the 1st fret, right? So now an F is actually F sharp G. It's a G. Don't worry about that. I shouldn't have even said that, actually. What's that?
Why does it go out of tune?
Just because when you clamp onto the, so usually what I do is I let up the pressure a little bit and then put it back down. Because when you first clamp it on, some of the strings, like if the strings are like this, right? they'll spread a little bit when you first put the clamp down. And when they spread, that stretches them and makes it a different pitch. And that's why it goes a little bit out of tune. So you just want to let up the pressure a little and then put it back down, and the strings will realign themselves and come back to the right spot. Or you can use a tuner, and when you hit it, whatever the closest note is, tune it to that. That works too. I'll do that sometimes with a guitar, right? That's a little bit more advanced. But so that's a way to very easily change the key of a stringed instrument. That's what a capo is. Now, this is a guitar capo. You see a whole bunch of it is hanging off the bottom there. They make ukulele capos, these short little capos that just cover the fret, and you just slap it on there, and there you go. You got a whole new key. And the whole point of a capo is to change the key of the instrument easily for a piece of music, mainly for a singer, right? Because a singer sometimes has trouble singing in, say, the key of C, which is a key that a lot of regular ukulele songs are in. Say they sing and they're more comfortable singing in a key of D, so you would put a capo on the 3rd fret, and now a C chord, C, is a D chord, right? So it changes the whole, it raises up the whole thing, and it could make it match the YouTube videos with the same chords, right? So you'd still be playing an F, a C, but it would work with the YouTube video now. Does that make sense? Everybody's nodding? Okay. So you might want to go out and get a, they're not expensive, you know, ukulele capo. You could probably get one on Amazon. There's a website called Musician's Friend that's really great, that sends out stuff really quick. There's a site called Sweetwater, and they send you a bag of candy every time you order something, which is pretty cool. You know, whatever. It's the internet, man. Just, you know, look for it and you'll get it. It's on there. You know, so yeah. So that's the thing about, that's a quick thing about capos. And when you get one, if you need some help in figuring out, like I'm having trouble with it or whatever, we can go over that too, and I could help you with that, you know, no problem. So we're getting close to the end of the hour. How's everybody feel? Was it worth it? Was it cool? Yeah, thumbs up from everybody. Excellent. Yeah, well, oh, 2 thumbs up. Look at that. Oh, Vicky, you're too kind to me. And just to say that even if you guys don't really have anything you want to go over, what we're going to start doing is moving into a little bit more advanced topics. Like Vicky brought up this thing called Travis picking, which is a really cool picking pattern where right, something like that. That may look crazy complicated now, but it's not as bad as you think. And we can go over stuff like that. We can get into different picking patterns. We can get into different strums. There's all kinds of tricks with ukuleles that people do, like flipping them over and stuff. We could even do that. I don't, whatever, you know. We'll make you into like ukulele ninjas if you want, you know, no problem. So I'm going to put this video up to, this might even be the first video that I put up on YouTube, actually. And yeah, and we'll go from there. So let's call this, it's funny, this is actually a bigger class than we normally have. So I feel like this might be pretty popular with everybody, you know. It seems like more people than I thought really want to get down to the nitty gritty of it. So that's fine. And I'm glad we have it. And we'll continue this every Monday until you all are professionals. All right.
We'll send the recording so I can watch the first part of it, right?
Yeah. As soon as I have the recording up, I'll send it to you. No problem. Yeah. And you can send it out to everybody if you want on the list. What I'm going to do is I think I'm going to start a YouTube channel for us and make everything public. And that way you just have to go to the YouTube channel link and all the videos will be right there. So I'll date the videos and I'll make some kind of different marker on the Monday classes. So you could see which ones are the actual classes and not just the play-alongs. Or I'll call all the other ones play-alongs and the ones that are not, you know, as a class or whatever, you know, something to differentiate them. I haven't figured it out quite yet. So, you know, but that's what I'm going to do. And I think I'm actually going to start uploading everything, Vicky, to YouTube. That way you don't have to worry about sending out a link every single day and telling me that it hasn't been uploaded. I haven't seen the link yet. Yeah, it's fine. It's on YouTube now. Don't worry.
Good idea.
There we go. That's what we're going to do. So thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for the great
Thank you,
questions.
Chris.
No problem. I love doing this, man. There was some great. You're welcome. You're welcome, everybody. There were some great questions. We went over some great stuff, and I'm glad we did it. And we'll continue next week. And you know, during the classes this week, if you stumble upon anything or there's something, you know, write it down. You know, write it down, and when the class comes around, ask. You know, guaranteed somebody else in the class has that question too. Guaranteed. So, you know, it's always good to go over everything.
It might,
All right,
might be warming up in the park next week.
What's that?
It might be warming up in the park next week.
Maybe
yeah.
I mean, the mid-60s.
we might do another couple classes in the park if it's still warm there. But everybody's invited, okay? And if we're not,
Indian summer.
That's right, Indian summer. We're hoping. You know, so we'll send an email to let you know if we're doing the online class or not, you know, and if not, again, you're welcome to come to the park, you know. It's pretty cool. We go to Montgomery Veterans Park and, you know, we all play some songs together.
What's the story for tomorrow?
What story? We have the class in the morning, right? No?
Well,
No,
most
your mom said no. She canceled
officially
it.
it's canceled.
Why is it canceled?
Election day.
Election day.
Oh, yeah. Maybe we shouldn't do it. Okay. Yeah, it's election day. Well, shoot. All right. Yeah, I guess the class is canceled. I don't like doing that, but, you know, people need to be able to go out and vote. That's important, and I don't want to cut into any of that time.
Oh, but this would be such a good distraction from the hell of tomorrow.
I know it's going to suck. I know. And here's the thing. Tomorrow, it's not even going to be over tomorrow. That's the thing.
No.
It's going to be weeks.
Well,
months.
it could be over tomorrow.
Well, yeah, but they got to count all the mail-in votes.
It could be over tomorrow.
Oh my God,
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Hey, from your lips to God's ears or somebody's ears.
The whole thing is just so depressing and so ugly. And so,
Yeah, it is.
It's just so.
At least the ads will end on TV.
What's that?
At least the ads will end on TV.
There's all kinds of blessings when this is over. Trust me, all kinds of blessings. And I'm either going to be very, very proud or very, very upset with my country after we find out what happens here. So we'll see. We'll see. Scary times, man. Scary times.
Bye, everybody.
Take care, Jane. Bye, everybody. Bye, Marcia, David.
Bye.
David.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank
Emily.
you.
Bye, Ann. Bye, Herb. Bye, Vicky. Bye, everybody.
Chris,
I'll see you guys on Thursday.
Chris,
Yes.
Sounds good, guys.
I'll send out a reminder that there will be no class.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do that. I think that's the right call, right? I want to give everybody the chance to vote in the morning, and you know, I know you guys wake up at like 3 a.m. So just kidding.
Oh, thanks again, Chris. Appreciate it.
No problem.
I'll send out a reminder that we won't have class tomorrow, but there will be class on Thursday.
Sounds good. And thank you for the suggestion. I mean, the class went great today. You know, it was really great. I think people got a lot out of it, and we'll continue to do it for as long as we need to.
Well, I figure since we've only got, you know, probably just a handful of Mondays that, you know, it is that we can go to the park, and next Monday looks lovely.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens after that. So I know that our time is coming to an end.
Right.
So.
And I already told everybody basically that we might have spotty classes in the beginning because we're gonna have some days that the park might be okay to do. But honestly, I mean, I'm guessing by December it'll be over. You know.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
yeah. Yeah, and then we've got essentially the whole winter to do these classes, which should be really great for people.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
So
So-
and the class part can go, you know, December, January, February. I mean, who
Yeah.
knows how long this is going to last?
You know, we might even keep it going and then do the in-person class once it starts getting warmer on another day. You know, or you know,
I didn't think that would be that's but in the afternoon, right?
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, or we could do them like the same day. Maybe we could do it from 5 to 6 or from 3 to 4 or what, you know what I mean? Like whatever.
Well, I mean, certainly the afternoon works better for me because of, you know, Justin.
Yeah,
you know.
your teaching schedule and everything, right? Yeah, so, and I think it works a little better for everybody. You know, there's got to be some people who are still either working from home or whatever, you know.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I don't mind doing the classes a little later.
Okay,
So,
and I
yeah.
just got a really nice note from John, who's not able to participate in the classes often, but he's gonna, like this recording, you know, he's gonna love this recording.
Definitely.
He'll get that.
I hope a lot of people get something out of it. And by posting it on YouTube, you know, I'm hoping that, you know, who knows, maybe some stranger will stumble upon it and get something out of it, you know?
And
You
we'll
know,
become,
I'm not looking to become like a YouTube influencer or anything like that, but you know, it's better to be in a public forum, I think, than just sort of hidden away on my Gmail drive somewhere,
Mhm.
you know?
All right. Thanks so much, Chris. I appreciate it.
Anytime, Vicky. It was great. And thanks for being here.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
No problem. I'll let you know when it's up on YouTube. It may take me a little while to get everything set up, but I'll put it up there and let you know.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
No problem. Bye, Vicky.
Bye.